At the point when another device or innovative wonder is presented, individuals regularly portray it as something that will change the world. Possibly it will change business, travel, or interchanges. Yet, one thing's without a doubt, it will be around for quite a while. Obviously, almost no gets that far. Most developments that begin solid eventually cease to exist. These 10 brands and creations were greatly effective from the outset. However, when the public's enthusiasm for their oddity ceased to exist, these things failed miserably, as well. TiVo. In obscurity days before gadgets like TiVo were presented, it was difficult to record live TV. What's more, simply disregard delaying it to go to the washroom or snatch a tidbit. TiVo changed all that with its presentation of computerized video recorder innovation, which altered how we stare at the TV. With the TiVo connected to your TV, you could record various channels immediately, making it practically difficult to miss a most loved show. Much more great, the framework made it conceivable to skip advertisements, an element that everybody increased in value. TiVo's marking was fruitful to the point that it turned into an action word. Individuals would state that they TIVOD something to observe later. Sadly, it was not to last. As advanced innovation kept on developing, DVRs turned out to be to a great extent superfluous. Google Glass. Google Glass appeared with a gigantic measure of media consideration and buzz in 2012. The organization's garish item demo included skydivers streaming their bounces through the gadget. The item was showcased as much for its oddity and selectiveness concerning its innovation, and the public gobbled it up. Supposed glass explorers were allowed to demo a model for 1 month before it was made accessible to the general population. Tech devotees clamored for their set. MySpace. At once, with an internet association had a MySpace page. The online media stage was the first of its sort. From 2005 until 2009, it was the biggest on the planet and flaunted in excess of 100 million clients for each month. In 2005, it was bought by News Corporation for $580 million. Pebble. Albeit numerous individuals perusing this are most likely wearing an Apple or Samsung smartwatch, quite possibly somebody is wearing a Pebble. In 2012, Pebble turned into the most supported Kickstarter result ever when its makers raised $10 million on the stage. At that point, smartwatches were simply starting to surface available. Through the Kickstarter lobby, Pebble had the option to develop a huge after. The deluge of cash made it feasible for the organization to advance its idea further, and benefactors started getting their watches in mid-2013. Nintendo Virtual Boy. Nintendo has made a portion of the world's most inventive approaches to play computer games. The organization brought back the computer game industry following the market crash in the mid-1980s. Yet not all things made by Nintendo is advantageous. The Wii U, for instance, was an enormous disappointment. However, it scarcely enrolls when contrasted with the catastrophe that was the Virtual Boy. In 1995, Nintendo delivered one of its weirdest, generally awkward, and most horribly planned results ever in the Virtual Boy. The gadget was advertised as an augmented experience style of gaming, yet it wasn't virtual in any way. Rather, it offered stereoscopic 3D glasses, like those found in cinemas, to show 32-bit red designs. Napster. Individuals have been unlawfully duplicating programming since the time it was conceivable to do as such. The equivalent is valid for computerized music, which rose in prevalence during the 1990s gratitude to MP3s. Individuals downloaded and shared this music broadly on different stages. Yet, the most famous one was Napster. The organization was established in 1999 and turned into the essential hotspot for distributed document sharing on the web. At its pinnacle, this uncontrollably mainstream programming had around 80 million enrolled clients. Obviously, it wasn't without discussion. Napster turned into the objective of legitimate concerns when Metallica sued. MapQuest. Before everybody had a GPS tracker in their pockets, individuals utilized an ancient innovation known as a paper guide to get around. Until the 21st century, a great many people had a guide or two in their vehicles consistently, yet MapQuest changed all that kind of. MapQuest went online in 1996, and it offered free planning administrations to its clients. Individuals could go to the site, enter their objective, and print out a guide with bit-by-bit directions on the most proficient method to arrive. Palm Pilot. Nowadays, a PDA is less a telephone and more a tiny and amazing PC that ends up settling on telephone decisions. Harking back to the 90s, notwithstanding, the idea of a PC in the pocket was considered fantastical, that is, until the Palm Pilot was dispatched. In 1996, the first Palm Pilot personal digital assistant was delivered. Purchasers wondered about its mind-blowing capacities, which appear to be out of date contrasted with what's accessible today. The first Palms didn't have illuminated screens and were restricted by a limit of 512 KB of RAM and sequential correspondences ports. Betamax. Today, with the press of a catch, you can observe nearly anything whenever. In any case, it wasn't generally similar to that. Delivered in 1975, the principal item that let an enormous number of buyers record and watch programs later was the Betamax. The next year, JVC's adversary design, VHS, was presented. Even after that occurred, Sony's Betamax innovation was the highest quality level in video recording and playback. It changed how individuals devoured TV during the 1970s and mid-80s. Segway. In 2001, Dean Kamen acquainted the world with the Segway, a two-wheeled, self-adjusting individual transportation gadget. The purported human carrier was ostensibly a mind-blowing innovation. It offered methods for driving inside a metropolitan climate in a creative manner. The Segway turned into a mainstream society symbol very quickly. It was included in a scene of South Park and numerous different shows and films. Steve Jobs once called it as large an arrangement as the PC, which was high applause originating from him. Afterward, he withdrew his announcement by saying the Segway sucked.